Hello, everyone. This is the Abundance Oracle here. Please like, subscribe, and share. So, today I'm going to talk about something to do with your children and how you get them started in the right situation at an early stage in life. So, I started out my kids' resume when they were probably, well, it was young. I'm going to say 5 or 6 years old. And the reason I started out is because you need to, so I'm going to give you a fast look. When they were young, and I'm going to read the categories to you, and I'm going to give you some tips on motivating them at an early age. So the reason I started it young is because I had to learn. I had to figure this all out. It was my first go around with kids, last go around with kids. And so we figured it out all together. So what I did is I started their resume, like I said, of around 6. And these were the categories that I had on them. Education, and under education, then a subcategory of awards. Because your kids, if you start doing this at an early age, they're going to have quite a lot of awards because you're going to be aware and looking for what can my children get, how can I forward them. Maybe they're close to being one of the best whatever in school, and all you need to do is a little oomph and push and help, maybe a little tutor after school, for half an hour every once in a while. Okay, so I'm going to give you an idea about the type of things, and these are basic things, but the type of things you can get. Okay, the year, I won't go through the years. Advanced math and advanced science. So if your kids have any AP classes, that's advanced, and you would put it on their resume. Gold's art gallery, outstanding artwork back in the 5th grade. Now, I'm telling you, start this off and you'll get it at the end. Okay. Then we had honor roll in the name of, it was her middle school. Then we have straight A's in her middle school as well. She won the A's Ice Cream Award. I can't remember what the heck that was, but we obviously applied for it and we won the A's Ice Cream Award. Okay, work experience. Now, for her work experience at the time, I don't know, she was 11. Let me think. I'm looking at the dates here. So 11 or 12 years old. Her work experience started out babysitting. We have the dates, I guess, on it. Ryder, who's an infant, Charlotte, Laura, and the blank, blank, blank families. So that's some of her experience with babysitting. The year before that, she did the such and such family. There were 5 families she did the year before that. And the very start out, the American Red Cross babysitting certificate she got, that's under work experience. And her very first year, she babysat for 3 families, and she kept track. So, for example, the Bup family, she babysat an infant, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, an 8 and a 9-year-old. The Fogarty, the other family, she babysat a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old. The other family was a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So now people know, okay, she has experience with different ages. Very good. We also started her work experience under fundraising. If you saw my previous ideas on how to motivate your children when you don't have any money, even getting how you can get them to camps and things. So fundraising, she learned how to fundraise. And that was 1, 2, 3 years. It was her team. She asked for donations and she asked for t-shirt sponsors. I don't even remember what that was. We've done so many of this, but it's on the resume. So her work experience from age 11 to 12, this one is, and you just keep revising it. You don't ever eliminate anything until they have so much on the resume that you have to eliminate some stuff. Okay, then the next category is athletic experience, because that was important for my kids, well-rounded children. Diving, yes. They were on the, she was on the junior Olympic team. Okay, the year before she was only on the gold team, and she came in, she did the local 1 and 3 meters, and she did an invitational she was invited to do, because remember they did gymnastics when they were young, so this was not hard for them. She came in first place in the 3 meter. Okay, then they did cheerleading. There's many, many years of that, starting out when they were really, really young. Then they did gymnastics. Okay, that's all listed out. Community service is the next major category. And if I didn't put down community service on the resume and each year hunt for community service that would be good for little kids, they wouldn't have had so much listed here. And I see now that I'm remembering free babysitting. When they first started out babysitting, I called some people up and I said, you know, I want my daughter to practice babysitting. Can she babysit for free for you? And you can be at home and she can play with the kids and keep them busy and do that. So they did that for, I kept track of the hours, 40 hours roughly of free babysitting she donated. Feed the children, community service. Pumpkin patch fundraiser, that was in back of their school. She would help out. She was a volunteer. I think she was a face painter. She did face painting or something. Oh, and we also did the haunted house. I was in charge of the haunted house that year, and they had to volunteer to help run it. So there's lots of things that you can do. This resume helps you be a better mom or dad, because you can see, am I raising someone, a daughter or son, when they get to senior year in their high school, has the right things on their resume and have been doing it for so many years that people will look at it and say, oh my gosh, this is really, really important. And you start out when they're very, very young. So what I did for them to get babysitting jobs, 2 things I did. One, as I printed up the babysitting resume, and as you can read, it says, need a babysitter or a math tutor, because she was good at math, so we kept pressing that. And we actually had a guy that we knew down the street that was going to go to Harvard, that he needed volunteer time, so he used to come tutor her a little bit. So it worked out really great. All this stuff, when you start talking to the other moms, oh, listen, I'm looking for a kid who can tutor, a day or two, for half an hour, can help them with the... You just get in the mode of being a better mom or dad, because you need to build this resume up for your kid. So I printed these resumes up. I handed them 10 resumes when they were in I think it was freshman year in high school. We drove in the beginning of the school year to the elementary school. And it was the elementary school. Yes, it was it was not where we lived because they were too embarrassed to go do this where we lived. So it was the next little suburb over. I said, "Okay, this is what you're going to do now." My poor kids. It's like, "What now, Mom?" Right? I said, "Okay, you take these 10 resumes. You're going to go up before the kids come out to the moms. You look them in the eye." I'm just so inspired how wonderful they were to do this with a crazy mom sitting in the car watching. Now that I look and I say, "Oh," but it was worked out really well. So I said, look the mom in the eye, shake her hand, and say, "Hello, my name is ba. I'm really good at math, and I can babysit. Here's my resume. If you ever need anything, if you ever need anyone to help out, my mother's cell phone, not their cell phone, my mother's cell phone, you can contact her." And I did all the screening, who's calling, and make sure it's a good family. And I'm free for babysitting, and I'm free to do math tutoring whenever you can get it done. And I don't know if they asked her how much do you cost or whatever, but she passed out 10. The next day, she had 3 out of the 10. And they said, "This is so incredible that you did this for your daughter. Do you mind if I copy it?" I said, "Absolutely, go ahead." And they said, "We'd love to have her come babysit." I said, "Great. I will come to your house the first time with her and I will drop her off because I just want to make sure we know each other and you know who we are and we know who you are." And they're like, "Oh, that's terrific." It worked out so well. Steal this idea, because by the time they get to be a senior or they get to be in high school, you are going to be so shocked. Now, I love my kids, as you can tell. One of the great things that came out of this was my daughter, the youngest daughter, when she graduated from college, she started a job out, and of course she's thinking, what am I going to do? I'm in a new location. What am I going to do for volunteer work? So she went into the Boys and Girls Club. Now, she started out as because we were poor in the beginning. They helped us because we didn't have the money. So they helped us. And then they stayed at that camp in the summer times. And they became junior camp counselors. And then they became camp counselors. And then as they got older in high school, they volunteered to do cheerleading classes and teach the young elementary school kids cheerleading. I think it was like half an hour, 45 minutes. And they would come and they would bring their bows and show their bows. They would, just their uniforms. And these little girls were just so very excited to meet a cheerleader in person. And they taught them, I printed up lots of hand motions and what you do. And we would give out a little flyer for the girls. And we made little prizes if they made it to all 5 sessions or 10 sessions or whatever it was. We bought ribbons and made bows and things like that. And so when she decided to, I'm so sorry, this is just the way I am. When she decided to volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club in the city, she went in and they said, oh, we're looking for junior board of directors. Would you like to come interview for that? So when she went to interview, they say, how do you know the Boys and Girls Club? And of course she said, oh, they helped my mom and helped me. And so she was probably 24 years old then, I'm guessing. 23, 24, 22, I don't know. But she said, I've been going to the Boys and Girls Club and helping out at the Boys and Girls Club for about 20 years of my life. I've done fundraisers for them. I've taught classes for them. I mean, and it's all there on the resumes. And they invited her to be a junior board member for raise money for the Boys and Girls Club. And she decided this past year, she said, I think I'll raise some money for the Boys and Girls Club. Oh, great, honey. She said, I think I'll shoot for $10,000 this year. I'm going to run the Boston Marathon. I think that would be good. And then I can wear their t-shirt. Boston, the Boston Marathon. Okay. The little things you do early on plants seeds to grow amazing, amazing children into amazing, amazing adults. And who learn to do what's good and right, to grow themselves, to have pride in themselves, and they will be motivated. And if you put the work in while they're young, when you can't afford it, when you can't afford the tutor, when you can't afford the camp, when you force yourself to go be the camp nurse, and they luckily had a pool there, so that's what I called our summer vacation, because we all went together on summer vacation. A lot of moms I see, say they were never taught when they were younger how to do this, how to build incredible kids. And you can do it. Start however old they are. It doesn't matter. Start now. If they're 5, if they're 10, if they're 15, if they're 25, 35, if your kids are 45 years old, start now. Help them, because you have such knowledge of life that you can share, and you know what's important. Just savings, investing, sometimes maybe sacrificing for them. They need to know what you do and how you do it, and what's the hard part and what's the easy part, and how can I help you in your life. All right, crazy me, sentimentality, missing my young kids. We actually had a great, great time. And it was hard. My oldest daughter will tell you, oh my God, one time there was bugs in the pasta. Okay, well, we scooped them out and started over. So, if I can do this, you can do this. You just need to be creative and stop listening to how hard it is to do or how tough it is to do, or you don't know how to do it. You'll figure it out as you go along. Your children are worth it. This is the Abundance Oracle. Love you tons. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.